Welcome to my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I've got yet another original series. This in front of me is a true piece of history. Now when it comes to Seiko, this is the icon. This watch here has got some true historical significance. So before I get into anything in regards to what this watch is all about, I want to briefly cover the quick history. So Seiko divers, they've got a 50-year plus standing history within the divers, and it started off with the 6105, which is nicknamed the Captain Willard because it was worn by Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now. That watch was actually not known as the Turtle at that point in time. So the first Turtle came around and it was called the 6309, which was, it used the 6309 movement, and that is when the Turtle started. Interestingly enough, the 6309 movement, it was a 17 jewel movement. It had no hand winding, no hacking obviously, but it did have a 47-hour power reserve. So for that time, I mean, that's pretty good. Now that Turtle ran for 12 years and it ended in 1988. Now that then moved on to the 7002 movement, which that dive watch looks very similar to the SKX, and I believe that's what the SKX that's what became the SKX, sorry. So 30 years after that, think about it, 30 years after that, Seiko did a reissue of the Turtle, and that was the SRP 77 series. Now within that series you've got 777, 779 and etc., which the end numbers just represent the different color options and like special editions, limited editions. So after that very brief history lesson, brings us on to this model. So as I mentioned, this is the reissue Turtle, and this is the SRP C91K1, and that's just because of the it's a special edition Save the Ocean. So the reissue came with a modern movement, which is the 4R36 with a day and date function, which obviously gives you the hand winding and hacking function, and with a 40-hour power reserve. Now this is my actually my first Turtle, and I'll be honest with you, when I first saw these, and I found this with Seiko on a couple of watches, I was not a fan of the shape, and I realized even now this might not be everybody's cup of tea. So I was not a fan of the watch at all. I did briefly, I bought a paddy version, which is another special edition, but I sold it. I only bought it to sell on. I wore it once, but when I did wear it, I found it extremely comfortable, but I wasn't fully sold on the actual color option. I'm not a fan of the paddy colorway on certain watches, and that's just my personal opinion. I find they don't seem to go with a lot of things that you wear. But I recently just bought this, and this is featured in a few of the videos that I've done, and I must say it has grown on me, and when you learn about the significance, it does kind of grow on you, and that is about, I don't know, 50% with Seiko. They do have that significance, and the more you learn about them, you'll find certain designs do grow on you. So I mean, they've got a solid fan base. Like I said, this is the most iconic Seiko watch. Everybody should know what a Turtle is, and let's have a look at this one. So let's cover the dimensions. The diameter is 45 millimeters. The thickness is 13.5, and the lug to lug is 47.5. The bracelet comes in The lug width is 22 millimeters. So it is quite a large watch if you look at the distance, the diameter of the case, sorry, but it weighs not that big at all, and that is due to lug to lug. Now, the recent divers that I have covered, I found the lug to lug is well below 50, which obviously sits really good on a smaller wrist. So as I mentioned, I recently bought this, and this is the Save the Ocean mod, sorry, the special edition. And I love that dial. I love the gradient. I love the whole special edition. Seiko have done on the Turtles. They've done plenty of special editions and limited editions. They've got the new Ninja out. They've got the Zimby models. They've got the Paddies, and they've got the grey. So along with the black. So if you move a bit closer onto the dial, you've got a two-tone bezel insert, dark blue and light blue. If you look at the hands, this is where the link comes into the SKX. As I mentioned previously, the 6309, when it was discontinued, the diver changed to the 7002, which is very similar to the SKX, and the SKX was then that's what the 7002 evolved into, the SKX. So you can see the hands represent that with the lollipop second hand, and with this reissue, I like that they've stuck to that, to be honest. And you'll find that with Seiko, when they do reissues, they stay true to the original watches. So recently you've got the 6105 reissue, which comes that's really top spec. It's a high-end diver. It comes with the high beat movement, the 8L, and it comes spec'd out. Also, it carries the hefty price tag, and they've done a 62 mass reissue. They've also done another reissue of the 62 mass. So Seiko at the moment killing it with the reissues. And as with this, they have stuck to the predecessor and paid a respectful homage to it, while upgrading it obviously with the movement and modernizing it slightly. And you've got these large indices that give you fantastic lume. You've got your blue chapter ring, and again you've got the bezel here, which is similar to the SKX. Now let's look closer to what gives this watch its nickname, the Turtle. That's because the case is shaped like the back of a turtle. Circular brushing around the sides, very smooth machining, very, very smooth. And then you've got higher polish along the sides. One feature that stands out on the Turtle is the recessed crown at the 4 o'clock position. That just gives it added comfort. And as you notice, obviously, which is something specific to this colorway, is the black bezel and the black crown. They also gave this watch drill lugs, which you know you need. And if you're anything like me and you despise the Seiko diver strap, it makes changing straps so much easier. It stops damage to all your lugs when you do regular strap changes. On the bracelet, I went with a aftermarket bracelet, and I must say this is a very good aftermarket bracelet. It's not one of those lightweight, cheap ones that you get from eBay. It's a very, very high quality, almost OEM. And the reason I say that, these links are almost exact like the Samurai, and I'm actually wearing the Samurai here, and we can give it a quick comparison. And I happen to be wearing the Save the Ocean Samurai. So I've got a little STO meetup here, but as you can see, the links, and they look exactly the same. So super bracelet. Now the turtle, it has featured in a couple other videos of mine, and I had that silicone strap. I wasn't really feeling that, so that's why I went with the stainless steel. Really good weight on the watch. And the case back. It's called the Air Diver Special Edition. And the case code is, it's a 4R3605H0. And all the writing on the back is like laser etched. So they have done a pretty good job on the reissue, and they've took it quite the distance. So they've kept it interesting, should I say. So where the 6309 came out, I can only assume there wasn't that many options in the colors. So now what Seiko does across the range, you'll find whether it's a Sumo, whether it's a Samurai, Turtle, or the SBDC line that they've got, the mid-range divers, they roll out a bunch of color options. And on top of that, they roll out the limited editions, and they roll out the special editions. Now I'm a big fan of the whole Zimby thing that they're doing. So they're keeping the watch, that model alive, they're keeping it interesting. And you know, having owned this now, and having worn it, I do kind of get, I get these now. Like I said, you know, in the beginning I wasn't a fan, but it did grow on me, and I do get it. The comfort on it is really good. It sits on your wrist so well, and I keep saying that, so let's just put it on the wrist. So you can see it does look wide, because it is a 45mm case, but due to the lugs and just the overall shape, it seems flattened out slightly, and it fits a 6.5 inch in perfectly. There's no overhang, so people with a smaller wrist, don't worry, you can enjoy this. Now, which brings me to another point. Obviously, with my videos have covered the Chinese specials, and there was a comment made, which is fair point. Why would you buy Seikos? You know, and he says something about unless if you've got lots of money. Now, I've got a lot of Seikos, but I don't have a lot of money. Not due to all the Seikos I've got, it's because you just got to be smart. You don't need to buy them brand new. You know, as you buy one, they do lose quite a bit of value, but the beauty of the movements, you know, everyone knows that the Seikos are known for this super reliable workhorse movement. So what that means is you don't need that warranty. That 2-year warranty you've got is useless, because nothing will go wrong with your watch. I mean, there's stories of watches that are 20 years old and they're still running correct. I've got a Gen 1 Monster, and from my timing over a 24-hour period, it was only out by 3 seconds. So imagine that. So I think, you know, if the condition's good, you don't need to spend that kind of money. So I have managed to buy SKXs, and in fact even this one, for the price of a brand new Chinese special. Like, brand snobbery aside, when you can get a genuine OEM model for that money, you might as well get it. So you don't need to necessarily spend, you don't need to buy this brand new, basically, that's what I'm trying to say. And look at the second-hand market, and obviously stay away from the fakes, because you've got fakos in this, fakos, and I have a video that covers that. So looking at the bezel movement, let's look at the bezel. It's okay. I do have a qualm with these bezels. I've mentioned it in nearly every Seiko video. There's no standardization, there's no consistency between the bezels, I gotta say. So, and they don't seem to be doing anything about it. Like, it just seems a bit like clickety clacky. You know, you want that tight sound. And you know, let's see if it has the Seiko proprietary misalignment of the chapter ring. And let's see. Yeah, so that's like half a click out. When you do half a click, it goes over. No, it is what it is. It doesn't really bother me, to be honest. It looks kind of straightish. But yeah, let's get a loom shot. And as always, fantastic loom, super bright. And once it's been charged up or exposed to sunlight for like throughout the day, the loom will last quite long. One final point, and which actually covers the special editions and all the different color options. Like I said about the paddy, one of the reasons I don't like that, it just reduces the versatility of the watch and what you can sort of wear it with, whatever. So like with this Save the Ocean, strap changes. Not every strap looks the best with it. So like I said, I put that silicone on. You've seen it featured in a couple of the videos. Personally, I didn't like that. I think it made it look too, how can I put it? It made the watch look like immature, like a toy watch. And I prefer, on the Save the Oceans, I do prefer a stainless steel bracelet. Obviously, it is 100% subjective, but just be careful, and that's something to think about. If you do go for a special edition, it might sort of hinder the versatility of the watch in terms of what you can wear it with, how you can wear it, like bracelets. But I imagine this would look good, maybe on like a brown or black leather strap. I don't have any leather straps that are 22 mil, so otherwise I would try one. And that is about it. So overall, really nice watch. I do like it, and it's going to be, for the time being, a permanent resident in my collection. If you like the video, hit the like button, please subscribe, and as always, leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.